Hi everyone, this is the Quick Resume podcast, episode 23. We're so grateful to have you here. My name is Deck. I'm joined by my poorly boy, sicky injured boy, Tim.
Jesus, I'm not sick. This sounds like the most soft opening we've ever had to the show.
Did
What
you like
was
it?
that?
I don't know. Did you like
No,
it?
I'm going to be honest. No, I didn't. I thought it was
Okay,
kind of
well,
weird. It went on
that's
like
fine.
way too long.
That's fine. Feedback as we go, no problem. Didn't think I'd get it from my own co-host, but that's how it goes.
Cut that shit out. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not sick, but I am injured. I have perished.
You are so perishable, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's been a busy week for me. The last sort of week or so. Basically work was just kind of crazy. I haven't actually played that many video games this week, so
what?
there's not too much to I know, right? There's not too much to check in on my half, but work was just crazy, and then I had like double cricket game over the weekend, which we won and all that, but I did in my hamstring pretty. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last episode. I guess I must have done because I did it last week. We were talking about me.
We'll have like a before and after, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, as
Tim perishable hella.
Yeah, the stupid person I am, I decided to play again, only giving it a week to heal. And yeah, it's rough. I sent you a picture of it today, and you were pretty gobsmacked.
I mean, I was gobsmacked. It looked like you like dropped a can of baked beans on your leg, bloody baked beans. It's horrible. I mean, like the color. Yeah. I mean, like the insides of the can.
Yeah, it's literally like the whole circumference of my leg is just like bruised. And obviously with no impact damage, that bruise has just come from within. So I'm internally bleeding, which is where the blood's supposed to be, I guess. So
yeah, but if it's any consolation, all bruises are some kind of internal bleeding. It's just a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when you get punched, like impact, that like bursts
that's right,
blood vessel, whatever, and
just comes to the surface.
The bruising.
The blood.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, I didn't have any impact damage, so I've literally just like torn or done a little tear on my hamstring. And yeah, I'm just hobbling around at the moment. It's I feel like 70 years old. It's kind of rough, and it's so tight. Like, when you can actually feel the tension. I feel like you could snap my hamstring.
You could play it like a banjo.
I've like halved it in size. So yeah, I'm not having the best of time. But
I'm sorry to hear it. At least it gives you a good excuse to play the video games.
I was literally going to say that. Over the next like 2 weeks. I've got 2 weeks until my next game, so 2 weeks to recover. And yeah, I'm just going to ice the shit out of it and play some video games. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice excuse to play more Apex. no, I'll try and venture into something different. But yeah,
I was going to say, I'm somewhat envious. Maybe I should get someone to just, I don't know, yank my leg.
No, just play games healthy.
I think I'm going to do it.
Why would you do that? But yeah, how have you been?
Sucks. Dude? Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit delirious if you can't tell. We have people round, and I don't know. I'm just tired. It's okay. Like, I'm okay. I'm I'm like, I don't really know. I'm like quite like physically tired. My brain's okay, but I'm quite like physically tired. You know what I mean? Like we always like described fatigue when we spoke to like our brain injured clients. We always spoke about fatigue and tiredness in like 3 forms. It was either physical, emotional, or cognitive, right? So you can have one, they can all happen independently. And I feel like emotionally and physically tired. My brain will work, but the rest of it, I just feel shattered. It's literally just because of work, like, But yeah, other than that, it's actually been quite an exciting week in terms of like video games and like playing stuff. So that's been my sweet escape.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get into it. I don't really know where to start really because there's like a couple of things I want to go through with you, but I also wanted to touch on the fact that like I don't know if I said to you I finished Psychonauts like last week.
Didn't know that.
So yeah, so that happened. That was a good thing, and I gave like my thoughts on it last week, and pretty much all of them remain the same. I think the only things I would add is that like the level design never gets worse, and that was really fun. Like I said, it was really good. You know how I always speak about when I speak about Starfield, I always say that like I'm really excited for like the possible variety of the planets, and I feel like Psychonauts was that, but for brains, but for and brain. Because like every level you're like, what the fuck is this? And it's just fun. But like things like I feel like a couple of levels maybe dragged on a bit too much. There was like not much. These are mostly like nitpicks. They're not like a massive deal. I said like the combat's a bit like airy. It's a bit floaty. It's fine. It's good even, but just not like super tight. There's like some weird animation locking that goes on. Yeah, the enemy variety is good. It goes on for ages. I'm just trying to think of what happened towards it. It ended really well. I like the ending. And Raz, I fucking love Raz. Raz is like the main dude, Rasputin Aquata. He's so cute. It's the same voice. I don't even know who the voice actor is, but it's the same voice actor as. Do you remember Invader Zim? Do you remember that cartoon?
I do, yeah.
That was Invader Zim. He's like a green alien. It's the same dude. It's Zim himself. That's the guy who plays voice X Raz. And he's just like, I just love him. He's just so sweet. I don't know. I just love it. And he never, every time, because there are just sometimes he says something and he just like the delivery of it, you're like, aw. Like, and it's just over like something totally inane. Like, he's like, I want that. And you're just like, yeah, man, you go get that.
Yeah, you get whatever you want, man. Chase your dreams.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, super good, man. Totally recommend. I'd probably give it like an 8.5 overall. Really enjoyed it. I think it really, I wouldn't, because like the Open Critic went back up to 89 because it was on 88 last week. So that makes it the highest scoring new game of the year, like not including Demon's Souls because it's not a new game. It's a remake, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I obviously overtook Ratchet and Clank, and I think Psychonauts really appeals to older not older people, but people who like old school type of games where there's like loads of unlockables. It's like a collectathon.
You're sort of
I kind of enjoyed it.
Kind of game.
Yeah, definitely. They're like platforming, which is really nice. I haven't done a bloody platformer in ages. Yeah, it has like that. There's so many collectibles, dude. Like, my God, if you're into that, it's like a wet dream. I kind of liked it, but I'm not going through it again to get every single thing. Yeah, give it an 8.5 overall. I think definitely its strength is in its like character design, writing, level design, and exploration as well. But yeah, that's like kind of it. But I just wanted to touch on it because also it's a banger. You should play it. I think my score is probably lowballing it a bit because there are like a couple of those things I mentioned just add up at just enough to knock it back a little bit. But totally worth playing, especially for free on Games Pass. But yeah, other than that, I started playing Wolfenstein. Have you played Wolfenstein?
Oh, wow. I have completed the first one.
All right. I'm not playing that one. I'm just playing the new Colossus.
Oh, no, the first one's really, really good, man.
I know it's good.
I know it might not hold up, like, in terms of visuals, but, like, I remember it being a epic game. Like, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Which, again, I have no idea why I haven't played the other ones, because I did enjoy that one so much, but yeah, no, you should go back and play it. But has it got any sort of like boosts of any kind? Any of those games?
Do you know what? I don't know. I'd be surprised if it wasn't like enhanced, but they already run at 60.
Oh, okay. I feel like one of them got whether it was New Colossus or whether it was New Colossus or New Order. I feel like one of them got some kind of enhancement of some kind. Probably the newer one, I would imagine. But
yeah, maybe. But I mean, it looks good and it plays really good. Yeah, I was thinking about playing the first one, but like, cause it's been on my backlog for ages, and it's been since really Xbox acquired Bethesda. I've been like, I should probably give this one a go because they're really well reviewed, and I didn't realize how well reviewed they were. But like, ultimately, I just thought the second is reviewed better than the first, and the first came out in like 2013. The second was 2017. I just thought I can probably like I'm playing this for like a high action like shooty game. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not.
You shoot Nazis, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's not going to get old. Like that's always going to be fun. So, so I just figured I'll skip to the second one. It gives you a nice recap, and actually, I'm kind of surprised at how good the voice acting and how good the storytelling is. However, I've now already been spoiled on the first game because it does a recap. So I mean, no biggie, I don't think. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've probably played like 5 hours so far, and it's been really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the best way to describe them. Is they are just like, yeah, you should go into it looking to have fun more than anything else. I mean, that's not to say you're not going to get you're getting a bad story experience. Like the story's good, but it's not going to blow you away. It's all about just having fun. It's like playing like a Michael Bay movie. It's just like just go and blow stuff up and just have fun doing it. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's maybe a bit from what I've played so far. Anyway, I think it's maybe selling it a bit short because I would say like a COD campaign is maybe more Michael Bay because their stories can be a bit apart from the good ones. Their stories can be a bit, but it's very very shooty good fun. Whereas like this, like I said, I think the storytelling is actually really good. I was really surprised. I was like, oh, this is engaging. And like the pacing is really good. And obviously it's really interesting that it's like this is in the timeline where the Nazis and Germany won the World War, and it's like the divergence of that, and it's like what happened otherwise, and that's really like interesting. So, having a good time, man. I'll have more to report in the coming weeks. Don't you worry.
Hell yeah!
If I had time for reviews, I'd be cranking them out, but it's just can't be dealing with
what, like separate reviews?
Like video reviews.
Like podcasts, like an actual video review, yeah.
I've thought about it so many times, but I don't know. Maybe one day.
It's a lot of work. Because I imagine your sort of style of review would be quite similar to someone like Skill Up in that sort of way. I imagine that's the sort of way you'd want to approach a video review style. And it requires a lot of editing, a lot of work.
Yeah. I know. So I think if I ever did one, it would be more like a video essay, and it would be just like a long video on like just one game that I thought was really interesting or something like that. So I don't have enough time to like churn out lots of small ones.
Yeah,
we'll see, man. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool. But yeah, man. So other than that, there have been things that have happened this week. I'm not even this week. Last week as well. We've both been busy bees, so obviously, you know, that with the delay of last week's episode as well, you guys will already all have heard about Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is the kind of it's from the devs of XCOM, from Firaxis that is, and they're doing like a Marvel kind of style tactical strategy game. This is like 2 weeks old news now. However, what were your thoughts about this? Because like this is a banger for me.
What, for Marvel Midnight Suns?
Yeah.
No, it's a serious banger. Yeah, like it's really really cool. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with it. Right? It's like a sort of Marvel sort of XCOM's like kind of hybrid thing, right? It's cool, man.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
Great.
Yeah, it does. It looks really cool. I like how like they've made it like cinematic, like because you know XCOM is quite good at like when you do your move, it like changes angle and it shows you, and it like it's like that, but you like see all the fancy animations with the powers and stuff. I was really surprised, and like with the variety of heroes, there are some heroes I haven't seen in like a long time, like Marvel heroes. But I saw Wolverine in there, and I was like, I forgot about Wolverine. I forgot he even existed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would never have any interest in that character really normally, but because like I feel like he hasn't been around, or maybe that's why I didn't have an interest in him, because there was like a Wolverine movie every fucking 18 months. So maybe it's the other way around, but yeah. So I just thought it was really interesting, but it did gather a bit of a negative reaction as well because of the card system. I don't know if you saw about it. So it's like it's like a deck builder game as well, which I heard that and I'm like, Slay the Spire, extra banger,
Sign me
like
up.
Sriracha level. And it's weird because people are like shitting themselves over the potential that it will be monetized. It hasn't been. There's no like announcement that it's monetized. It's all in game. Like your characters, each of them have like a deck, and you draw a hand for your turn, and you pick something to do with the presumably like an action point system with a certain amount of things you can do, which I think sounds really cool. But a lot of people are like, I think there's the valid criticism of like some people are frustrated that it adds a layer of randomness because you're drawing part of your deck, whereas other people are just like knee jerking at the possibility, the hypothetical possibility of there being monetization.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's kind of likely, right? I mean, who's the developer behind it? Who's the publisher?
It's the publisher. That's a good question. It's Firaxis, so the developer is the same guys who did XCOM, literally the same guys. I don't know who's developing it.
Who's publishing it? Yeah, no, it kind of depends on that, because the obviously if something like this is like, I mean, who it was Square Enix that published the Avengers game, wasn't it? Square Enix?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and obviously that got flamed a little bit for its microtransactions and stuff like that. So, if it's someone like that. Yeah, I do remember it getting flamed a little bit for that back when it first launched.
Okay.
There was definitely some monetization in it.
2K games.
I can't remember. You what? Sorry.
It's 2K, the publisher
2K.
for this one, and XCOM.
Yeah, so 2K do 2K do have
I guess
a little bit of history with monetization and stuff.
And with like they do NBA.
They do NBA, yeah. I mean, they do pretty much all the sport games and stuff, and they all have monetization in them. Obviously, aside from like FIFA, but
I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm not going to be a negative Nelly and just be like, oh, it's getting monetized. I really like the concept of the whole card system, and yeah, there's no indication that it's going to be monetized. Monetized?
Monetized. That's when you get monetization on the monetization.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh my god, I just leaked it by accident. Yeah, so just I don't know, just enjoy what it is right now, and if it comes to the time where it becomes monetized, then be bitchy about it, right?
Yeah,
right now it looks like a really cool game. Like it looks fantastic, and it has some really cool, unique ideas as well. Like
for sure,
it's bringing new stuff to the table, which I appreciate. Like, sure, Gears Tactics was cool, but it was just a new skin of something that already existed, essentially, right? Where something like this is actually pushing the boat out a little bit. So, I've got to respect it for what it is right now. So,
and you get to make your own Marvel character as well. I don't know if you saw the trailer. Like, you make your own.
Oh my god, we get to make IC9 again.
I fucking wish. I think no. So I don't think you can go that far. It's like it's a Marvel character, like not a real one that's already. It is going to be canon. But it's like you're like the daughter of or the son of X, Y, and Z, and you're like from the underworld, and you choose your class based in that. So it's not like totally out of the.
I see. Damn it! Can't make IC9.
I wish one day we'll tell the story of IC9. Today's not the day, ladies and gents. You'll have to wait and see.
It's the biggest cliffhanger.
I know. And while I'm addressing you, actually, if you wouldn't mind, hitting that like button, that'd be great. Or if you're on Spotify, I guess I don't really know what you do on Spotify. Give us a round of applause.
You got a little heart button, haven't you?
Give us a little heart. Share us. Give us a little share. Share us out on Twitter to all your Xbox friends. All your Xbox. That's what we are. Whew, wow. I was going to say. I feel like we have gotten into this habit of like just getting kind of pissy at people like who keep knee jerking to gaming news. Which is like. I don't know if that makes us any more sensible or just as bad as the people who are knee jerk.
Nah, we're sensible.
We're sensible for sure. Yeah.
What I just said was extremely sensible. What are you talking about?
I mean, to us it is, but I'm with you, man. I'm here. I love you. I hear what you're saying.
Good.
We'll move on.
Glad I'm not alone. Yeah, let's.
So, in terms of new games that have also caught our eye, before we move on to something else, it was obviously Alan Wake got announced today, live breaking news. Not by the time you're listening to this or watching this, but
Pew, 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 pew.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So this was actually really sweet. So Sam Lake is the director over at Remedy. He there's an Alan Wake fan website. I can't remember what it's called, but the news was announced there a couple of hours before it was officially announced. Sam Lake himself went there and said, "Hi everyone, we're so grateful for your support. Yada yada, wrote paragraphs and paragraphs, and this is our love letter to you guys, kind of thing." Which I just thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Alan Wake Remastered, dude. Is there? Do you have any sort of a hankering to go back and play that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it kind of depends. I always say with remasters, you kind of never really know to the extent what the remaster is going to be until it actually kind of hits your console or has a pretty meaty gameplay trailer or something. If they give it a decent boost and a decent fresh coat of paint, then yeah, I mean, Alan Wake was a really cool game, and I think it's quite cool that they're doing this, and I think it also shows that they're kind of potentially just seeing how much hype this drums up for like a sequel as well, potentially.
Yeah,
so like
agree.
that's also really cool. So I mean, just on the fact that I'd want to see a sequel, I feel like I should probably buy this and give it a go. Give them my money. Because then I'm helping the cause to potentially make a sequel.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do think it deserves a sequel.
It's also coming to PlayStation for the first time, this game, because obviously it was
Xbox
exclusive.
I'm kidding.
Boo!
The more the merrier. I'm kidding.
Yeah, totally. Because the story there is obviously Xbox had it as a exclusive, but then when I think they owned the IP but ended up selling, Remedy wanted to buy the IP back and Xbox sold it back to them, because this is the thing with Remedy games, is that they're consistently good. We're talking the Alan Wakes, we're talking Quantum Break, Control, and what was the one they did before? Why is Mad Max? Sam. What was it?
Sam Fisher?
No, not Sam Fisher. Anyway, I can't remember. Is that one that had like loads of like the slow-mo diving and the guns, and it was just shooty ball?
Max Payne.
Everybody loved it. Max Payne, thank you. I knew Max was coming from somewhere. But all of these games have like taken a long time for them to make, and they critically do well, but they never seem to commercially do well. So Xbox ended up like not caring really. Obviously they did Quantum Break with them after that, but kind of stopped partnering them with after that. So PlayStation gets to play Alan Wake, which is really cool, and I think a lot of the current consoles actually will be really be able to make that game look pretty, because obviously a big part of it, it's not a spoiler, is light. The use of light. So I just think that'll go a long way to make the game look really pretty. Yeah. Because I never played this I only played this maybe like 3 years ago by backwards compatibility, because I always heard about it and I was like, ever since, it's amazing. And obviously it was a bit rough, like, but it wasn't dreadful, and it was really good. So I probably won't buy it again because like it's still fairly fresh in my mind, unless it's on Games Pass. Maybe I'll dip my toes, but I'm happy that
if I
else
buy
gets
it,
to play it for sure.
If I buy it, you have it anyway. So,
That's
but
so
yeah,
true.
no, it's definitely it's just really cool, right? Like I have nothing bad to say about it. It drums up potential sequel, and it's a really good game that people get to play again at the best standard it's ever been.
No complaints. Yeah,
no complaints.
Brilliant. So, I mean, before we sort of like come on to really like the Xbox stuff, there is the big elephant in the room for this week, and that is that PlayStation finally chirped up and said, "We're still alive, we're still doing something," and they're going to be doing like a state of play. Oh no, I don't think it's called I don't think it was. I think they're just calling it like PlayStation Showcase or something, and that's on Thursday. So I don't know if we'll have the video out before then. I mean, hopefully, but if not, then you've already seen it and you know what it was like. But if it was out before this, then This is our speculation, really. So, I mean, it's 40 minutes long, they've confirmed, and obviously PlayStation hasn't really had a show since their PS5, like pre-PS5 showcase, where they revealed Bug Snacks. And
Huge.
so it's been a long time. It's been over a year. So they didn't appear at E3. They didn't do anything. What a game. It was really good, apparently, man. Apparently it was good.
Oh my god. I forgot about Bug Snacks.
Just that little strawberry running around.
I've never been more confused than when I was watching the Bug Snacks trailer in my entire life. Oh god.
It was a lot to take in. For sure.
Anyway, carry on.
Wow, yeah. So they've been MIA, you know, and here they are, ready to shake up the industry, I'm sure. So, you know, we obviously coming off a fair bit of negative news at the end of last week. Have I got that in the notes? I'll tell you what we have. We might as well talk about that now. So, was the Horizon Forbidden West news? Did you hear about this?
What about it just being delayed and stuff? Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Not just being delayed, it was the upgrade path.
Oh, yes. No, we haven't talked about this. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so the dealio here was that they said that you could basically that the purchase for the PS4 version and the PS5 version of Horizon were separate. Again, because they don't have like a smart delivery equivalent, which was something that was taken the piss, like it was really not, it was laughed at when they first said it. Xbox first said it, so like, you know, massive buzzword, whatever. But yeah, so it turned out when they announced it, the only way to get the PS4 version, the PS5 version of the game was to buy the deluxe edition, which was $80, which is like dumb. Mm-hmm. And they weren't offering a free upgrade or any upgrade paths, which probably wouldn't be a huge problem if there wasn't still a chip shortage and people were still, like, most people are on PS4s and probably want to have a PS5 by that time. So if a lot of people are going to be buying it or pre-ordering it now, they would be screwing themselves over and have to then buy it again, you know?
Yeah.
So that whole thing happened. Sony got loads of bad press. And thankfully they did address it. And they said, yeah, no, you're right. Soz about all of that. You can now upgrade for free. And they've said for future purchases, for all cross-gen purchases in the future, it will be a $10 upgrade path, which is still, like, I don't think particularly good, but it's better than pulling this sleazy, poorly thought out shit. So stay loud, gamers, with a capital G.
Yeah, that
not too loud though.
Yeah, it still sucks. But it's an improvement, right? It's a step in the right direction. But yeah, the fact that for me to upgrade a game, they wanted to charge me £10. I think it's kind of stupid, right?
Yeah, you're still gonna have to do that, man. You're still gonna have to pay a tenner to upgrade. What they were doing before was that you couldn't buy them at all. But yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, even in this best case scenario that they're currently in, that's still pretty bad in my eyes. But it's better.
I agree.
But yeah, it's just classic Sony being Sony. Sometimes they're a bit oblivious to that sort of stuff sometimes, and they just don't like think into the future very well. They had the same issue with the whole SSD as well. They just, I don't know. They're just they just don't think about this sort of stuff, and how it's going to affect.
What do you mean with the SSD?
Well, the fact that you have to like install it yourself and do all that kind of shit. You need like
the external.
You need a degree to actually like crack open your fucking PlayStation and install some external SSD into it. It's just like, it's stupid. Like, why was that ever a thing? And they're just gonna have to.
I definitely agree. I don't
of PlayStation.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. I don't think they're very forward thinking. I think they have been not as good with like a lot of their forward thinking tech. You know, like the backwards and forwards compatibility. You couldn't bring your controllers forward with you. And it shines an extra light on it because Xbox are really excelling in that area. The backwards compatibility is like kind of limited, not that good. Enhancements, like director's cuts, like what is this? Whereas Xbox just does it all for free. So I definitely agree with you there. So going back to what we were saying before, that happened with Horizon, delayed to February. God of War was obviously announced as a 21 game, very funny, good one. Not coming out in 2021. Gran Turismo 2021 also got delayed. So, and me and you were speaking about this the other day. I think we did mention it last week as well, that obviously this leaves the holiday wide open for Xbox to come in with Age of Empires, Forza, and Halo, which is like, we haven't seen this happen since like 2013, 2012 even for Xbox, where they've had a time frame where they've dominated with exclusives. I guess maybe a bit later, maybe like 2014, 15. But point being, what do we expect to see there, man? It's 40 minutes. It's not that long. But because PlayStation have been so quiet, I think this is going to be a banger.
Yeah, me too. My thoughts are they are just going to fucking cram it with trailers. And just be like, you haven't heard from us in a while. Here's just 40 minutes of pure trailers. I think they'll show God of War. I think they'll show more Horizon. I think they'll show all those kind of bangers, and then just to reassure people that it's they're still there, right? And they're sort of Xbox might have the end of the year to sort of to have their time in the spotlight, but PlayStation are not far behind coming in 2021. So yeah, I think they're literally gonna just cram it with so much stuff and just be like, don't forget about us. Yeah, I think we're gonna see some pretty cool stuff, and I think probably Bugsnax too.
We can only hope. We can only hope and dream. Yeah, I think there has been whispers in the community on the Twitter sphere, etc., on the forum scope that there are going to be things. There will be video games. Surprise, surprise. We're probably going to see God of War, right? Supposedly, we could be looking at an Infamous reboot or an Infamous sequel or something to do with Infamous. Okay. I've never played
Infamous
one, but
Third Son.
Yeah, right. I've never played one, but they always looked fun. So cool.
They were. Yeah.
There's been some rumors that there's another Marvel partnership going on, which does make me want to pull my eyeballs out a little bit. But it is what it is.
It could be that the sort of MK Starfighter one, which would be kind of cool.
From NetherRealm.
That's been that's been kind of leaked for a while, right? But NetherRealm one really.
I will run my leg over if NetherRealm's next game, Marvel fighting game, is exclusive to PlayStation.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, they're very they're very impartial, aren't they?
I mean, it's not impossible. So. It's not impossible, but
no,
I'd hope not.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think the Marvel stuff's just being it was kind of absolutely nothing, and then now I feel like it's everywhere. it's like a gold mine.
It's definitely that thing of like Disney would have seen the success that the first Spider-Man had, and they're like, oh, there's a market for this. Oh, weird. So now the license is going out left, right, and center. Which is cool. I just hope that like all of it doesn't go to PlayStation, because I think there's so much room for interesting. Like you could really make the argument that superheroes and like heroes and comic books and that sort of stuff is better suited to a video game environment than it is to a cinematic environment. You could really make that argument. I don't know if you'd win, but you could make the argument. I don't think watching Peter Parker swing on the TV has quite the same slap that swinging around yourself as Spider-Man does, so all that sorts of shit, so that's the only one I'm gonna say that I hope isn't there. Other than that, we're kind of expecting God of War. Maybe we see Gran Turismo again.
We will.
There's gonna be stuff, unannounced stuff as well. And the other thing is that we've been hearing about for a while that Sony have been like looking into doing more multiplayer games, noting that it's like a big gap in their portfolio, and that there's lots of money that's essentially leaving on the table, or co-op, but like more live service games, which Xbox has been doing, to both praise and to criticism as well. Gears is live service, Infinite is going to be live service, even like Forza Horizons, like their live service as well. Sea of Thieves as well, obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more like sort of live service co-op multiplayer games from them, including Forspoken. If you remember that game.
Oh yeah, yes, I do remember.
Project Athia.
That's the that was a really nice looking one, wasn't it? In like a sort of sandy like ruins and stuff, and there was like a dragon there or something.
That's right. I think it was an MMO.
Was it an MMO?
I think Forspoken is an MMO.
No one really knew what it was, but yeah. Okay, that's kind of cool.
So either way, even with just the things we've reeled off, that's already sounding pretty good. So
oh yeah, it will be good. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. It will be a banger. It has to be. So
yeah,
should be a good one to watch.
They've been too quiet for too long
Exactly.
to not have good shit to show. So
yeah,
big bets on that. Or maybe it's not an MMO. Anyway, whatever, we'll see. I think
unless it was like a Black Desert style kind of MMO.
Yeah, I thought it was
insane.
I thought it was, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it doesn't. I can't see anything about it, so maybe I made that up. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't surprise me that is in that is Sony's portfolio, isn't it? Third-person action adventure narrative stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I mean, fingers crossed for you, boys and girls of the PlayStation sphere. I hope you get what you want. I hope you've been good this Christmas and this year, really. I hope the COVID gods are kind to your game releases. But other than that, that's this week, really. So we'll come back next week and we'll sort of be able to talk about that in more detail.
Yes.
Next up, moving on to sort of more Xbox stuff, more actual Xbox stuff. We had another indie game that was like part of like the indie game bangers that have been coming out month on month, and everybody was really hyped for this like last year when we first heard about it, but it's kind of just flown under the radar, which is weird because it's been reviewed kind of well, and that game was Song of Iron, which is like this really cool like realistic looking side scroller, like where you play as like a Viking, very like stylized, very like musky. I think I'm using that word right. But yeah, I don't know if you remember the game I'm speaking about, but
I think I do.
Yeah, it's only had like 5 reviews so far, which isn't even enough for OpenCritic to kick in. It needs more than that. But I figured it out. Don't worry. Deck the mathematician is here. And it averages out to just over an 8. So it's done well, man. But yeah, allegedly it's quite short, between 3 and 4 hours long. For like £15. It's not a Games Pass game, which I really should have been, but I'm sure it will end up there. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it because I thought it looked really cool, but nobody's really speaking about it.
Yeah, I have to admit, I think I remember seeing this game, but I didn't. I had no idea it released until you just started talking about it right now, which is a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, it did look pretty cool, man. Maybe not my exact cup of tea, and I think there's just too much of this sort of thing releasing at the moment. I mean, with the whole Death's Door, and I guess Psychonauts kind of falls into the category as well. Like, I don't know, maybe that's why it kind of just flew under the radar, because there's a lot of these sort of...
What category is that?
What do you mean?
Well, what's the same about Death's Door, Psychonauts, and Song of Iron?
Well, the fact that they're all kind of like indie-ish titles. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't see Psychonauts as like a AAA. I know it is, but I just see it as like a smaller, like, platforming kind of game.
No, you're probably right. It probably isn't
in my eyes.
It probably isn't really.
It's definitely not indie.
But it's like obviously leagues. Yeah, it's leagues above like Death's Door and the rest. So yeah.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, I categorize it an arm's length away, like relatively similar. I don't know. My brain's weird.
All
Whatever.
right, play it, man.
You can't change. You can't change the way my brain works. So
Oh, you'll be surprised.
unless you want to dive into it.
Call me Raz.
So yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just that.
Well, while we're on the topic, speaking of Xbox things that have flown under the radar, State of Decay 2 Homecoming came out. We spoke about this just last week. I didn't know this was even coming out. I thought
didn't
this
know
was
it
like
had
a
a
month
release
away.
date.
No, neither did I. It's come out. There isn't a single review for it anywhere. That's what I was having a look at before the show.
That's so weird.
So I don't know if nobody just gives a shit anymore. I mean, from what I understand, State of Decay 2's play count is quite small, but it's quite dedicated. It's like one of those. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made. That's like the 50 DLC or something. So it's obviously still got some players, but it hasn't got any like press at all. Nothing.
Yeah, that's so sad. It was released a week ago and it has no single review.
No,
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Because I wanted to say, was it any good? But there's just nothing for it. And I found reviews for previous DLC. So honestly, I don't know, man. Maybe they just didn't release review codes early. Being optimistic,
maybe, but would it really take someone 6 days to
get
their teeth into a Homecoming State of Decay add-on? I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel like people review the biggest games in the world in like 2 days. They just play it for like fucking 30 hours straight.
Is it an expansion? I'm now starting to think maybe it was just a big update rather than a review, and they just called it Homecoming.
An add-on.
Yeah, right. So it would be unlike people don't usually like review big updates.
Oh, I don't know. If you look at it from like a Destiny point of view, that's exactly what they do, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but Destiny's so much bigger profile that it's like everything's going to get reviewed.
I have no idea what's going on in Destiny. I know that they're getting like another big expansion. I know we're going way off here, but we used to play that game so much, and now
I re-downloaded it the other day.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. It's just so annoying.
Wow.
Like,
Why
I can't.
do that?
I don't know, because I'm always like, sometimes, like, especially when it is in my veins, but like, especially when I'm like, there's like not people on. Or when I'm a dad gamer, when the time comes, I'm definitely going to be someone who like just picks up an MMO or like one of these like Destiny type games and just like plays that when I have half an hour free kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's always because I'm always like, I wish I had something I could just play that didn't like demand like so much time from me right now. So I just downloaded it, and obviously, looks beautiful, plays great. I literally just killed like 6 through and then went back to Apex Legends because people were inviting me.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, because I always think like, I wish there was like a big co-op game that we could kind of all play and we can play at our own pace and you wouldn't have to wait for each other and stuff like that. And I'm just like, why don't I play Destiny? Literally, why don't I play Destiny?
Yeah,
and that's the impasse I'm always at.
I think it's just burnout, right? Like, I genuinely think a large part of it is just burnout, and the fact that I think we've just kind of moved on from that style of game quite a lot.
Have we?
I don't know. Sorry, I thought I saw a spider. I don't know, because when I went back and we played it when it got its enhancement and it was running like super nice, like I did enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but there was just something about it that felt really stale. It just felt really, I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I wasn't having nearly as much fun as I used to on it, and I don't know if my brain is just bigger and it used to be smaller like earlier in my life. I don't know.
I think it definitely didn't get its hooks in us, did it? But I think there's a case to be made of like, unless you get past that and like you get hooked on like the loot system and the looting and then like grinding for loot, then because we were just playing to get through the story and then like maybe see if it got hold of us after that, which it didn't. So yeah, I don't know, because sometimes you do just want a game like that. I get why that's palatable to people. They just want something they can dip their toes in for 45 minutes, grind for a bit of loot, make a bit of progression, have a carrot on the stick, have a couple of badges that say good job, you're really good at this game, give you a shiny weapon, and then you fuck off and you're done. So yeah, man, but that's the impasse I'm like constantly at. But for now, we're still on Apex. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that.
Anyway, State of Decay 2.
We were talking about State of Decay 2.
Turns out it's just a new map.
God, even we don't want to talk about it.
Ugh, yeah,
okay, it's just a new map.
Yeah, so that makes sense when I was reviewing
Boring.
it. Yeah, sorry everyone. It's the map from the first game, but added as the second one. So that's why no one's reviewed it, which makes sense.
Oh,
yeah,
ass.
Not so
Okay.
ass. Just
Makes sense why it was called Homecoming. Now, kind of checks out.
Trumbull Valley, mate. Yep. All right, let's actually get into the meat. The sweetened meat. The meat and two veg. Never liked that phrase.
It's not that kind of podcast.
Sorry.
Meat two veg means
the plant-based.
penis.
Oh, right. What? I don't believe you.
That's what it means, dude.
Maybe it doesn't if you got your bloody mind in the gutter. Maybe
No,
you've
it
got
genuinely
penis on the
means
brain.
that. I don't. I promise. No, that's what it means, man. Don't out me on a podcast. Anyway,
on to the beans and broccoli.
Again, dude. Stop sexualizing this podcast.
So phallic. Okay, fuck off. All right, here we go. So there was. There's always Twitter. There's always Twitter drama, dude. Sometimes I just pause for dramatic effect and then I forget what I was going to say. There's like always Twitter drama, and the Twitter drama this week was something Starfield as an exclusive something. So Pete Hines, community manager over at Bethesda, had another interview. He keeps doing this, I gotta say, where he like gives out some like vague stuff that like will give PlayStation fans hope. It's only because he doesn't know. Like, it's literally because they grill him. They're like, so what do you think about the exclusivity? And he's like, I don't know, dude. Like, maybe. Well, I don't fucking know. So then people post it over Twitter and they're like, see, like Pete says that there's a possibility that Starfield might come to other platforms. It's like,
or just Pete doesn't fucking know.
Yeah,
like,
literally,
is that possible?
He literally said that, dude. And like, we've been here before. This isn't the first time. You all know the answer. The answer is no. Starfield is not coming to PlayStation platforms. So people jumped in. And like you'll see, I've got like a series of screenshots here on the notes where like Aaron Greenberg, Greeny Boy, marketing man, I don't know his exact title, from Xbox, jumped in and said like, no, it's exclusive. And people were like latching onto words. And it's like, oh, Aaron said it's launching exclusively on Series X and X. He didn't say it's fully exclusive. And it's like, guys, that's just like that's like a rocket joke, like a space joke, like launching into space, you know? So then, me, this just went on and on. And then he was like, no, stop it. Stop. It's not timed exclusive. It's being made on Xbox. So that finally shut everyone up. And then amongst all of this, Jeff Grubb was like watching from above and like in the clouds, like Zeus, I imagine. And he was like, stop being dumbasses. It formed a lightning bolt in his mighty hand and just dropped a nuke. I was just like, yeah, and Elder Scrolls is planned to be exclusive as well. Just like it was Monday. He just dropped that out of nowhere. Obviously, it's not confirmed or anything, but yeah.
My guy just smiting the PlayStation. I love him. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This has been a back and forth debate, and obviously Jeff Grubb has a very, very good track record. So when Jeff says something, I tend to believe it. I mean, rip. Sorry, everyone. I mean, we thought that was going to be the case anyway. We've spoken about this on the podcast before, but I mean, you just got to get used to it at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, boo-hoo. I have to buy a PlayStation if I want to play God of War. So,
right,
you buy a PlayStation if you want to play Starfield. Or...
Sucks, man. Exclusives suck.
Or the Elder Scrolls. You know, it's one of those things. We all have it. So deal with it.
Yeah,
we paid $7 billion for it.
Yeah, that came out of my tax dollars, my money.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm still recovering from that blow.
Yeah. So that happened, and I mean, I don't really have anything to add because we've done this before, but it's just the first time an insider has, what am I looking for? Like implied, insinuated that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be exclusive, and like I can't even. That's going to be unfathomably big, assuming it looks as good as all the other Elder Scrolls do, and is as creative and expansive as all the other Elder Scrolls are, which it will be because God Howard is there. Like it's like up there with the very few games that like shake the industry. It's like GTA, Elder Scrolls, maybe not, maybe Zelda, probably Zelda. Yeah,
Zelda,
So,
Final Fantasy, maybe. Well, at
Yeah.
least it used to be.
yeah. I was about to say Halo, but maybe it used to be. So
No, Halo, 100%
100% dead.
support, represent. Buy stonks, buy Halo stonks.
Yeah, please do. Oh wow, what a segue, dude! Look at that. You should do this more often. We're on to Halo.
Yeah.
On to
What?
Halo.
Really?
Yeah, we're really. What do you mean? That was unintentional. Bollocks.
It was absolutely unintentional.
I'm mad. Okay, that's
Let's
fine.
move on.
That's fine. You've just got segues lingering in your subconscious. So, if you remember, we did the whole thing about the whole Battle Pass challenge system, yada yada yada, last week with Halo, with the Halos, with An Halo, and it was followed up by Jerry Hook, which is one of the boys. I want to say he's multiplayer director. I'm really sorry if I'm getting this wrong. I'm pretty sure he is. He was followed up on Twitter with the question, could you clarify if the Complete X Games challenges mentioned in the article will have the number of games needed to complete the challenge increase every completion? Or will it always be complete 3 games, for instance? So he's asking, will it be complete 1 game, done, complete 2 games, done, 3 games, done, or will it be static?
Yeah.
Jerry Hook says, sure, as this continues to come up as a question. Play a match with a daily challenge of play 1 match will be what it is. Once you complete 1 match, you earn XP for that challenge. You are then given immediately a new challenge of play 1 match. We'll go deeper into the details soon with the design team. Tim, I'm not giving off any impressions of what my thoughts are on not just this comment, but the whole knee jerk last week. What are your thoughts on this clarification?
Well, I mean, on the clarification itself, I mean,
Yeah.
it just sounds like the challenge is refresh, right? Once completed.
But if you remember, the big angry boys last week were angry that you wouldn't get rewarded XP per match.
Yeah.
And then it would be locked behind specific stuff, like we said, like X kills with Needler, X kills with Commando, things like that.
Yeah. So what, you think this is confirming that there's no passive XP gain?
No. Well, yeah, actually, I guess. but what it confirms is that this whole time, like, there is XP. It's not passive, you're right, but you straight up do get XP for playing matches, which circumvents the whole problem and made the whole the whole whining shit totally irrelevant. But it's just wrapped in a challenge wrapper,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially the same thing, but you just keep completing play 1 match over and over again and getting a little bit of XP for it, rather than just having your COD or your Apex level bars that have 10,000 XP and you earn 1,500 after your game and you see the bar go up. It's essentially just replacing that, I guess. But it's the same thing. You're passively earning XP. There's no difference here.
So because when they said this, people were then like, "Oh, what's the point of doing?" Like almost having to backtrack. Like, "Oh, what's the point of having XP per match as a challenge, as like just one that resets every game versus having passive XP generation?" So my question to you is, what do you think the benefit? Why do you think this is the case? Like, why do you think that it's done like this rather than like generic, XP accumulation for time played, performance, etc.
I don't know. I don't really think there is a positive to it, right? I feel
I
like it's basically the same thing. I don't think it's any worse or any better. I mean, I guess it makes you feel like you're accomplishing more, as it keeps like saying, "Nice, good job" after every game, and you get a little. But I don't know. I don't really
I
think
guess
it.
no. I think maybe it's just harder for you to like put into context because you weren't in the flighting, not being a dick, because
No,
you weren't in the flighting.
not being a dick while being a dick,
Yeah, that's
while
me.
being a meat and two veg.
I love that. So my thoughts were the reason why this is in place is because the whole multiplayer progression seems to be challenge based, whether it's battle pass or not. I mean, we don't know anything about account levels or not, so this is just a way to make per match XP give you XP, but also tie into that because there are like, I don't know if we ever spoke about it, but there are obviously like weekly challenges are where your more specific stuff comes in. Like melee, this many Spartans, kills with this many guns. I don't know if there were monthly challenges actually, but anyway, there was like a special challenge that you got for completing all of the weeklies and a certain number of dailies, I think it was, and that reset every week. I assume maybe it's a monthly thing actually, and that would have like a special camo or shader, sorry, for that month. So it's just that it's literally, well, that's the first part. I think it's because it helps rather than giving you XP that essentially doesn't feed back into the core systems. It's just put into a challenge so that every time you finish a match, it feeds back into all your other stuff. The other part of it is you'll notice that it's match completion rather than performance. So some people will be pissy about that, but the other side of it is that it's
true.
meant to disincentivize quitters. That's the point.
Yeah.
Because if it was performance based, like, get 10 kills, someone get 10 kills, leave, go back in.
Yeah.
Play a match.
That's true.
Stops people leaving early. So
Yeah.
this is why I think it's there. Ultimately, I think we spoke about this last week. We are the SS knee jerk, slamming into the icebergs that be the that be the Twitter like troglodytes. And we thought the knee jerk was a bit much maybe last week. We did understand why it was there, but this kind of like totally throws a bucket of cold water on that for me. Like I don't understand how someone could still be pissy at this. Like it's challenge based, yeah, but like you're still getting XP per match. Is that not what you wanted? Like at this point,
yeah.
So so I don't know, man. I'm getting kind of fatigued speaking about like the most menial shit, like with Halo Infinite, especially when it's there. Like the answer is there. Like we knew this was here as well because this was in the beta. Like there was a bug where it didn't reset, so you got it once and then it vanished, but it was there as well. So I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's stupid. We talked about this last week, and we said it was stupid as well. Yeah, I mean, essentially, people are getting what they want. They just don't like the way it's wrapped, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's like someone wrapping up a Christmas gift. They love the gift that's underneath, but they hate the wrapping paper that the person used. Like, well, just enjoy the gift, man. Who gives a shit about the wrapping paper? If it's wrapped in newspaper, I don't care. Someone buys me an Xbox,
yeah,
and they wrap it in newspaper, I don't care. I think that was a pretty good analogy off the top of my head.
It was brilliant.
I'm done.
You're doing really well today. I gotta say.
Podcast out. You can finish.
So yeah, man. I mean, hopefully we'll hear more about this soon. I now. Whereas last week I understood it, I now don't understand the people who are still upset that this is challenge based. Because yes, like technically it is a challenge, but you're getting XP per match, and so
yeah.
When they go into it in more detail, hopefully it clears the air on that. But hey ho, moving on.
Indeed. Yeah.
Cool. So, for the back half of Halo, there was they had they spoke about the stuff that they've learned from the flighting. And stuff that they're going to be trying to change, some of it before launch, some of it not before launch, and all of that. So it's a very good bit of transparency. I meant to sort of post the link in here actually, but that's fine. I can remember like a few of the big things. The first one being, or rather, probably the biggest change was the radar. If you remember when I spoke to you about the radar, it was done so that you didn't show up unless you were sprinting or shooting.
Okay.
So
yes,
when you
I do remember that.
when you're walking, you're invisible, which is obviously different to all the other Halos where you're only invisible if you're crouching. They've reverted that back now, so for better or worse, whatever. I thought it was kind of cool, but I mean, ultimately, I don't think it really has a huge impact. It just changes the way that you sneak around a little bit more. I do agree that my only worry is that by having that much radar accessibility, you watch the radar more than the actual screen, and that it gives you too much information for where to throw grenades, because grenades in Halo piss me off to no end. And so, and they are toned down in Infinite for sure, but that's my only concern. That's why I kind of liked what I played, but I didn't play for that long, so maybe it would have gotten old over time. So ultimately, no biggie. I trust that that's the right decision. I mean, did you have any thoughts about that change?
I mean, I never got to play it or experience it firsthand. I mean, I quite like the idea of the new radar and how they were doing it. But yeah, I do know what you mean about the whole radar watching, because when we go back and play the Halos, the old ones, it very much is like that. You can really predetermine where people are going to be and throw frags around the corners and stuff like that. That is kind of annoying. But then people could also argue it's Halo, right? So if you change it, it's not gonna feel like Halo, which is why Halo will never change in the fans in the fans' eyes. And when we do try and innovate, it gets flamed for it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not too fussed. I actually would have quite liked to have it the way it was, but it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a deal breaker like the whole challenge based XP system is.
Yeah, definitely agree. Okay. Something else that came up was the medals. This was something that, again, this was maybe the one like stupid like thing that the purist, like the Halo community, got pissy about. That I was like, yeah, fair enough. I think that's probably fair. And that was that when the whole medals and the voice announcer that comes with it, Jeff Steitzer or whatever his name is, it's obviously iconic for Halo. They were just a little bit small. And they were actually a bit small, which is a shame, because they were so recognizable. And they gave they did like a before and after thing on the blog to show you what they look like, and they said they've made them look a bit more like the older ones, but also they've increased the size as well. No complaints from me. I did think they need to be a bit bigger. If they changed the style a little bit to make them look like the older ones, and if that's what they felt the fans needed to make them a bit happier, then sure. But
okay. Your issue wasn't necessarily the style of them, rather than just the size.
Yeah, that's right. They made them look a bit more metallic and like spiky, like how the old ones did, whereas the new ones didn't necessarily look like that. And it wasn't bad. It was just a different. It was like a softer style.
Yeah.
But neither are bad. That's just how it is. And I don't think I think it's overall good change, because they were a bit small and they're really nice, those badges. So no complaints from me.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. I've been trying to find the Waypoint blog to see if I can see if there was anything else, because I feel like there was, but I haven't had any luck. I'm just getting taken to YouTube for some reason, but that's fine. I remember those were like the two big things. They spoke about bots as well, and like making the difficulty higher for the legendary bots, because like the two hardest ones were ODST and legendary, and there wasn't too much of a jump between those two. Another one was like the sound of the needler was something that people complained about. Nothing massive. Most of this is set to be done before launch. So yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see for the next one, which I expect. By the way, I'm somewhat expecting them to announce the next set of flighting either on the day of or after the PlayStation showcase to try and take wind out of the sails.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I could see that. Hopefully, I'll actually get into this fucking flighting as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Actually, one of our mates, I was speaking to him the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I got an invite to Halo flighting," and I was like, "No, you didn't." You didn't. And he was like, "Yeah, I did," and he was like really confident that he did. And I was like, "You didn't. I'm a nerd. I would have known." So I don't know what he was on about. He might have been invited to MCC flighting because I know they're still doing regular flightings for the stuff that they're doing. So maybe it was that,
okay.
but it's just I was like, "What are you on about?" Like, there's no way I've missed this.
Yeah. It was probably MCC.
Yeah. But that's Halo. That's our Halo segment. Relatively painless this week, gotta say. Only busted a couple of veins. Just going through it.
That's always good. Yeah, much better.
Yeah, low chance of a stroke. So yeah, next up was the Tokyo Game Show happening at the end of September, so end of the month. Xbox announced that they will have a presence there. Originally, the title that went up on the website was, "We have some exclusive news and content." We all read this. We thought, wow, exciting. Wow, exciting. We all know Xbox is trying to get a foothold over there in the East. So cool. Then like an hour or two later, it was changed and it now no longer says that. It just says, "Come join us for some stuff." Or like nothing exciting. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say new exclusive news. So
yeah,
I don't know if it was just like a mistranslation or like they recognized that the language that was used was overselling it. I don't know, but ultimately,
probably.
Yeah, like we went into Gamescom, I'm not expecting anything from these shows. Maybe a couple of Japanese games in Games Pass, probably Flight Sim, like Japan update, something like that.
More Flight Sim.
Yeah, you love Flight Sim. I don't know, man. So anything that you'd like want to see at a Tokyo Game Show, not necessarily just Xbox, but is there anything like any like Japanese franchises or anything that you're into that you would see there? Because you can see there's Square Enix there as well, Capcom.
Yeah, I mean, not particularly. I mean, maybe. It's a long shot, but maybe some more of the new Final Fantasy. I don't think so.
The Final Fantasy that you're not going to be playing until 2025.
Yeah, but I'll have a PlayStation. I probably will play it.
Will you?
I do like Final Fantasy. Yeah, I'll play it for an hour and then never pick it up again.
Totally worth 500 quid. I think.
Yeah.
Possibly we're looking, if we're really lucky, we're possibly looking at something Monster Hunter related from Capcom.
Okay, what you mean, like a nice meaty Rise update or something?
Maybe a Rise update, but if we're like really, really, really lucky, like we could get a very small teaser for the next main franchise installment. I don't know anything. I don't have any information. But
I mean, how big does Tokyo Game Show tend to be? Is it quite a big boy? Is it over there?
Yeah. I mean, Square Enix literally have their showcase there, so that's fairly big in and of itself. Capcom has their thing there as well. I think they both appeared in some capacity at E3, but it was nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this is like their showcase for the year. So.
I
mean, when did World come out at this point?
World came out.
When was that?
2017.
I don't.
2018?
It wasn't that early. I want to say 18 at least. I feel like I should know that without having to look it up. But here we go.
Yeah, me too.
And that's another game as well. Speaking of
Yeah,
like the co-op dive-in
2018,
games,
2019.
I was like, why don't I play Monster Hunter? But then it's like, oh, there's so much in it now. It's just got a bit of an effort to get back into.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, I think we'd probably go to Rise. They've added so much stuff to Rise since we last played it and had our binge on it.
Maybe.
But yeah,
Man.
it's yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, the whole like Final Fantasy thing as well. Because when they first showed that off like ages ago, there was actually some gameplay in the trailer. So it's not like it was so early that it was just CGI. You did see a little bit of combat and stuff like that because people were saying it did look quite Devil May Cry-esque in its own way. So like, you know, it wasn't miles off, and that was showed ages ago. So, you know, there's no reason why we might not see more of that to draw up some more hype. I don't know if that's a 2022 game or not because I don't think it has any release window.
Yeah, maybe. I just get the. In fact, you know, it might be now that you bring it up. It might even be something that appears at Sony showcase for a bit because they like doing that. So
yeah, Final
either
Fantasy
way,
does.
either way, I think it will crop up over the next month.
Yeah, which would be cool to see because obviously I can't get my grubby mitts on it, but you know, there are lots of stuff that Sony do and stuff like that I have a lot of respect for, and I love Final Fantasy.
I'm just looking at the I'd literally just Googled Monster Hunter World and it's like, can you believe this game got a 90 on Metacritic? Like, what the fuck?
Yes, I can.
Amazing. Okay, just a brief moment of appreciation.
I can't believe that it made that big a splash for like the Western audience as a whole, but I do understand why it got a 9 because the game is absolutely phenomenal in like every way. Like it's probably one of the best games I've ever played ever.
Yeah,
in my entire existence on this earth.
It's like a near perfect co-op experience. Like 9 from GameSpot, 9.5 from IGN. Like, fuck me. The first console on mainstream consoles for like 20 years. Just amazing, man. Can't believe I'm like still in awe of how much they killed that game. That's just so good. Okay, so that's Tokyo Game Show. As per usual, expectations are 6 feet under. We'll get what we get. Honestly, I'm just hanging on to the Game Awards. We know Xbox likes having a presence at the Game Awards, which is usually done in December. So if there is anything big, I reckon we see it there. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more Avowed at the Game Awards. I'm kind of, in my head, I'm lining up Avowed to appear at the Game Awards. What's coming out sooner than that? And maybe Redfall. And I reckon they save Starfield for E3. So I'm bouncing between those three things, making an appearance at the Game Awards.
I'd love to see more Avowed.
So would I, man. So would I. There was recently a bit of drama about Avowed, actually. There was a guy who was fired. It was like a lead writer or something. Chris Avalone. I don't know if you know him, but he's worked on a couple of high-profile games, including New Vegas. So obviously Obsidian. But he's been like really bitter about Bethesda. Not Bethesda, about Obsidian ever since he's left, and like so he drummed up a bit of like drama, which, you know, isn't in line with what other insiders have said, that loads of people have left the project for Avowed and like it's not doing well at all. But loads of insiders have essentially commented on that, saying that isn't true. Like, we've spoken to members of the team and they've said that this isn't the case. So that's been ongoing this week as well, because obviously fanboys see stuff like that and they're like, oh, perfect, let me just load that ammo into my AK. Yeah. Stupid. Yeah. So, you know, whatever. Bitter employees as well. Exactly. Yeah, so Tokyo Game Show. We probably won't touch on this again unless there's like some substantial leaks or until it actually happens, because it's, you know, not massively relevant to Xbox at the moment. When
was that happening? Sorry, when was it? Oh, end of September.
Yeah, end of September. That's right, 30th. No, yeah, did I say 30th?
Yeah, 30th. Yeah,
that's it. Okay, yeah, that's Xbox's showcase. So hopefully we'll get Phil being really cute, speaking Japanese like he did last time.
He's all kawaii. He's like,
Yeah. He's pretty backer, dude. He smells pretty backer.
Oh god. Nice.
Thanks. So we had there are a couple more Games Pass editions lined up for this month. Don't know if you've ever heard of any of these games. Probably, to be honest, the standout one is either Final Fantasy. What is that? I can't even see. I'm not even zoomed in enough. One of the Final Fantasies.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13.
13, is it?
Yeah, it's not 13 too, I don't think. 13.
Or Surgeon Simulator. I know those are supposedly actually quite fun. So, but overall, yeah. I don't know much about any of these games. Do you know anything about any of these?
I think I've heard of Nuclear Throne a little bit, but not much.
Yeah,
not much to go on there.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them, but other than that, just for the listener, there's Craftopia. What does that say? Breath Edge. Signs of the Signs of the Sojourner.
Yeah.
Crown Trick and the Artful Escape. I'm a dumbass. I forgot about that. So the Artful Escape is actually probably one of the highest profile ones there. The name probably rings a bell in your head, but you probably don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
doesn't ring a bell in your head either.
No, I don't even recognize the art, the cover, or anything.
I'm pretty sure this was shown off at one of Xbox's showcases, either last year E3 or one of the last year their May event, one of their events. I can't remember, but they showed it off. Everybody was quite cool on it. Like, it seems kind of trippy, kind of fun, kind of cool. Art style is very appealing. I'll have to check that out. Actually, I wonder if it's out yet. I'll have to check the reviews. So but those are the additions for Games Pass this month. Go and support your indie devs for free.
Do it.
Excellent. Okay, my notes are really struggling to load, so bear with me. Okay, do you know what? I think we might even be through like the main meat and potatoes. I didn't think we'd get through it this quickly, but here we are.
Yeah. Wow.
So I saved the real saucy stuff for the end because it's not even really directly related to industry or upcoming games or even Xbox, but
okay,
it's weird. You're right.
Yeah, no, let's get into it, man.
Do you need a poo?
No, I didn't expect something so high profile to come up at the end of the podcast. I'm tired.
You don't want to do any serious talking.
No.
Well, come on then, man. So there was some
silly, stupid.
Yeah, well, okay, so China have limited gaming time for under 18s to 1 hour a day on weekends only. That results in 2 hours net play a week for under 18s in China. So that's so this does include Friday as well. So the 1 hour that it's allowed is from 8 till 9 p.m. on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. Holidays as well, you're allowed 1 hour in that time. It should be noted, there was already something fairly similar in place from 2019, which limited playtime for minors to not play any more than 90 minutes each day and a minimum of 3 hours on statutory holiday. So it's that, but cranked up to 12.
Yeah.
Would you have survived, do you think?
No, absolutely not. That's I feel so sorry for them. Oh God. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Under 18s.
So they can't play games during the week.
They can play some games, you know, like
they could play Jenga or checkers or
yeah, that's right.
Football. No. So yeah, I mean, personally, gaming was a huge escape for me when I was a kid, coming back from school and being able to switch off and have an outlet. I think that would be brutal if that was me.
Yeah, I think this might be, and you know, I hope I'm not being too political, but I think this might be a case of the guy. I thought you were like signing me off.
No.
I think this might be a case of a government overstepping their boundaries a little bit.
They're literally taking away like human fucking rights to do things in their spare time.
I mean, so the argument, the fore argument would be that, adolescent gaming is associated with poor academic performance and therefore worse job performance and less life satisfaction. That would be the overall argument for doing something like this, because it's only until you're 18. After 18, you can do whatever you want. That would be the argument. Of course, the against argument is it's a bit of an infringement on autonomy,
Freedom.
and this sort of thing should be left up to parents. Arguably, the parents always make the right decisions. So yeah, I mean, I'm hardly in favour of this. I'm just playing devil's advocate. This seems a little steep, and it also, I don't know how they. I mean, presumably they have something with ISPs to limit this. Like, is how are they going to control like mobile gaming? Considering mobile gaming over there is massive. How does this work on like public Wi-Fi's?
VPNs come into play
Right.
as well.
I mean, from what I read, this isn't that hard to work around. Like, it's just not.
No.
I'm kind of surprised because like it's really weird because China are doing this because they genuinely think they're doing a good long-term thing. They think this is like tough love. And that's fine. I'm like bending backwards to try and like empathize with that. But because this is going to kill like a large part of their economy. We all know how big gaming is. Like, gaming is bigger than most other like media forms in China. So not only is it going to do that, it's going to spike like piracy rates. It's going to spike crime rates because kids are going to be doing workarounds. So it's going to drive like cost up in other areas. And it's going to also, I guess maybe the silver lining is that it will create demand in other areas, possibly like arcades could see a resurgence. The retro gaming scene is probably going to go up again. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like independent, maybe not independent, but like offline consoles now come out. Maybe trying to mandate it so that can't be a thing, so that it has to be online, so that it can be checked in and like, but like the retro gaming scene, like everyone's going to be buying Game Boy Advances again so they can play without being regulated. So like it's such a weird push and pull, all of this. That's not even talking about like, obviously the philosophy and morality of it.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what's to stop like someone just turning the Wi-Fi off on their Switch and just playing Breath of the Wild in their room with the door locked?
Right. Exactly.
Unless they do something serial number based for the devices, but then you still need to be connected to the internet or some kind of server to be able to blacklist that serial number. So
it might be the case that they also try and regulate it through parents, i.e. it's illegal to let your kid under 18 play for longer than this.
Maybe it's all conspiracy built in with the vaccine as well.
Maybe
the vaccine is blows you up or tases you and puts you to sleep if you go over your time limit. It's a conspiracy, dude.
The Switch just like a little thing comes out like the card port and just zaps you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, zaps you right where you were jabbed.
Wow. I mean, like, it's pretty crazy, dude. That's I mean, is there any conceivable, what would you have done, do you think, if there were regulations this tight on gaming under 18 for us?
I don't know. It's quite hard to say, to be honest.
Would you have looked for an alternative, do you think? Or do you think you'd have just changed focus?
I think I don't know. It kind of depends at what age this would have been introduced in our lives, right? But yeah, I mean, I would say I probably would have changed focus. I would say I probably would have dove more into sports and stuff like that. I mean, I play a lot of sport anyway, but like just more, and just spend my time doing other things, just not gaming. right? Yeah, I think I would have just changed focus. I don't think I would have been as a kid. Um, and I mean, obviously, we're going. Are we sort of trying to picture this as in like it's still the same time, but we're just younger. So like things like VPNs and all that are widely known, widely used, and stuff like that when they probably weren't when we were quite a bit younger. And
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, I guess it's more thinking about like, if we were born into this like now, in 2020, if we grew up with
okay,
this.
well then I think I probably would have tried to find alternative ways to cheat the system as well, with the tools at my disposal. Yeah, there's nothing to stop me doing a VPN. I mean, you get VPNs for cheap as chips. I can afford a VPN on probably my pocket money from my parents. So yeah, I'd probably do something like that. But yeah, I definitely do think I change focus. And yeah, it probably would have changed my personality a lot from what I am right now. To be honest, but it's really hard to say. But yeah.
More importantly, do you think it'd have done you any good?
Mm, mm, Probably not, because I was a bit of a little shit when I was a kid anyway. So I think with that not being my escape and being what I did a lot, I think I probably would have got up to probably more no good. To be honest,
You'd just be a druggie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I was never the most well behaved kid in the sort of environment I grew up in and stuff like that. I did. But like, yeah, I think I probably would have taken a darker path. Probably like probably been like the Joker, the equivalent of the Joker or something.
Just become a proper Sith, like black eyes, like cast lightning out your fingers.
The evil path on Fable, that's for sure.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's ballsy. I can't say. I get where you're coming from. Unfortunately, the thing is, it will get like. Obviously, we're not used to this sort of like nannying over here in the West.
Yeah, but it's been going on for a while over there, just to a lesser extent.
And so also when we read about it, we're only going to read what our Western outlets like. They're going to present it through their lens, so they're going to obviously. It's not only does it sound bad. I mean, it does. I think it does, but it gets blown up a bit more because that is ultimately part of the culture as well. So it's a tricky one. I mean, like, do you think there's any merit to like the argument of regulating game time for people under 18? Or is 18 maybe a bit too long? Should it maybe be 16 or like 15? Or either way, would you think that that's way too much like regulation?
I mean, I do think it's way too much regulation, just period. But I do understand that there are positives to it, or at least in theory there are positives to it. They've obviously thought about it. So like, but I just don't know. These sort of things are impossible to predict when they actually reach the public and how the public will react or cope with them. But yeah, I mean, I can see some merits with it. Sure, some kids might take that route of just focusing more on their studies and just being like, fine, whatever. I guess I'll just grind it out and get the best grades I can possible, and then when I'm 18,
then become a gaming addict, then be a streamer.
Yeah, then I can hit rock bottom with loads of fucking grades,
really good grades.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There are merits to it, but I do think ultimately, yeah, I think it's a negative, and I also think their lifestyle and their culture is, I think they're a lot more. I don't know. Is it weird to say that I feel like they have a bit more of like an addictive personality than the Western people?
I don't know, actually. I guess it depends what.
Well,
you
I've said
mean
it.
by that.
I said it anyway. I should have typed it, but I don't know. I guess maybe in that sort of sense, they can
There is.
they can become more addicted to it. But
I'm not sure about the whole addictive thing, but there is like I think there is something to be said at least about like work culture. Like you could make the argument that like there is like a massive emphasis on particularly men because there is still a bit of like gender segregation, working like themselves to death. Does obviously happen with women as well, but that's just the way the culture is. Of like working in, and also it's just the nature of like they are economically capitalist as well, so there's loads of worker exploitation. It's they don't consider it exploitation because it's like legal but like ridiculous that people are working like 23-hour shifts and then another 23-hour shift. So I'm not sure if it's so much to do with the culture and more to do with like how little some of those things are regulated. It's weird. It's weird the way that China decides to like spread its regulation. Like for video games, for workers' rights, like it's just like what can we bring together a bit? So yeah, but there is like an intense gaming scene for sure. Like I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
Bit much though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
A bit much.
I mean, as it if as it was before was surely fine, or were they still just like, no, these kids like
they're so
not
unruly.
learning enough.
Yeah.
They're still not learning enough. Look at this. This kid's brain should be pulsing, but it's not. It's just still in his skull.
Yeah, it's just a normal amount of wrinkles on that brain. I want you to do origami on that shit.
Yeah, I want twice the brain wrinkles.
Grey
Make
matter.
it an hour.
Spilling out your ears. I want brain juice coming out your ears. Yeah, it's a bit much, and that's a wrap. I'd be fucked. I'd be in jail.
Yeah, I was about to say, we talked about how I would react in this situation, but how would you? How would this have affected you?
To be fair, I wasn't. I don't think I was as bad. I say bad. I didn't probably play like immensely when I was under 18. I probably started playing more afterwards, to be honest. Like I did definitely play a lot on weekends or whatever. But like we did play a lot of sports. Straight up, we did a lot of stuff that wasn't this. Over summer we spent like hours and hours doing other stuff. Together, and so we definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely played
a lot of games.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, absolutely, no, definitely. I'm just trying to think like how that stacks up to like. I guess in the sense that I had more free time, maybe. Yeah, I mean, either way, for sure, it would be a struggle. But I think I don't know if I would have, to be honest. I don't know if I would have looked for an alternative. Firstly, because I don't know if I would have had enough. Like, I wouldn't have been savvy enough to know about it or how to do it. I would have probably just put more focus on something else. Maybe I'd still have my last YouTube channel going.
God rest its soul.
In the long list of Deck's graveyard of YouTube channels.
You could have had a very successful video review channel.
I know, man.
With more time under your belt. Actually, no, that doesn't make any sense because you need to play the games to review them.
I'll just take other people's footage off Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Like this looks really bad
for an hour this weekend, and this is my video review on it. I'll play it for another hour next weekend.
Yeah. I'll just call it Deck Reacts. It's just me reacting to other people having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think I would have just gone for something else. But
I think you would have gone loyal to the foil. I think it would have been a proper druggie.
Yeah, maybe. There's a good chance. I would be dead.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so whatever. That's China. Thanks, China. Thanks for giving us 20 minutes to cap off the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm gonna go play my Xbox for 9 hours. Get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked.
God.
Oh god, guys, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here. You know, Tim's been doing weird shit with his camera all day. There's a spider in his room as well.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
So hopefully he turns up for the podcast.
It's not just in my room. I saw it crawl under my bed. It's the worst place for a spider to be. With that, maybe the shower. Maybe the shower is also pretty bad.
I can think of quite a few bad places to be. The car is.
I once
bad.
had one on my towel. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I once had one on my towel when I was drying myself, and it was like I felt it like, you know, when you smush it a bit, but it's enough just to make it panic but not kill it, and it just like scuttled all over my body, and I was like, "What's happening?" I just freaked out. I think I like flung myself into the door, just butt naked.
Oh my god! I've never met someone who like has so much experience with spiders.
I hate.
You have so many stories about spiders, man.
Yeah, no, we don't get on. You know, for something I try and avoid, we cross paths quite often.
They can smell your fear. Man. Maybe they just have like a shared consciousness, and they're just aware. They're just like the Vex, like just all coming after you at once. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I hope you make it.
I might.
I quite like having a co-host, even if he is perishable.
Yeah, perishable. Well, I might be Spider Tim next week.
Maybe.
I have like 8 eyes and legs growing up my back.
It'll make for a good intro.
You can introduce me as Helob.
Yeah, Helob. Oh wow, very witty for this late at night.
Yeah, I'm really sweaty as well.
I'm sweaty. Really hot. It's hot today. Let's wrap this up.
It's really hot.
Boys and girls, lots of love. Have a drink, have a walk, have some meat and 2 veg.
Watch out for spiders.
Get your REM cycles and get some good sleep. Watch out for spiders. That's all the life advice I have for you this week. This is Quick Resume Podcast signing off.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.